and welcome to the capital of Wales. As any visiting sports fan will tell you, this city is famous for its epic sporting events. And today we're going to add another one to the list with the Cardiff Half Marathon. It all starts here at City Hall and heads out for a 13.1 mile tour of the city. Let's join our commentator Rob Walker, who's certainly got the knowledge about today's course.
Yes, thank you, Charlie. The route starts off past Cardiff City Hall. They then run past the castle and down Lloyd George Avenue, past the Millennium Centre for Theatre and Arts, and then out along the barrage and the old docks. There's actually a turning point at the 4.5 mile stage, so if you're in the lead you can get a glimpse and see how far behind your rivals are. Back past the Norwegian Church, the Welsh National Assembly, across the River Taff, and then up past the magnificence of the Millennium Stadium. Then it gets a bit green through Pont Canner and Llandaff Fields, past Severe Gardens Cricket Ground, through Butte Park, past the castle, and then back to the finish line at City Hall.
This is the 7th running of the race and the event is growing dramatically in size and reputation. 11,000 runners will cross the line behind me this year, which means homeboy and local favourite Simon Jones has really got his work cut out.
The Porthcawl athlete, 29 years old, going for a hat-trick when he's been training on the sand dunes to improve his leg strength. Many a decent runner has done that in his time, but it's not going to be easy for him this year.
Game plan is to win, anyway, which way really. It all sort of depends on who's there. Again, if Kenyans turn up again, it could be a sort of a fast start and you sort of have to just hold back a little bit. Again, with a better Welsh contingent there this year, it could be a sort of close race this time round.
It certainly could, and one man hoping to make his mark here on what will be his half-marathon debut is the 10k specialist Michael Johnson. Welsh champion last year, and he's up for this.
Yeah, obviously looking very, very forward to it. I mean, it's the first time to move up from the 10k, so I'll be looking to post a good time, and obviously a win would be a bonus. But Wales has got some good distance runners at the moment. Some young guys developing. There's Simon Lawson, just ran a brilliant half marathon to take the British junior record. So I expect he'll be there, and I hope Simon runs well. But obviously, I hope I run a little bit better.
The 18-year-old medical student certainly has the pedigree. European junior silver medalist over 10,000 metres in Serbia earlier this year.
All the good and the great from Welsh athletics are here, so it's a real opportunity to test yourself.
Definitely, yeah, and against older athletes as well. It's a nice course and a good opportunity to race against people from Wales, so hopefully we'll do well.
Well, it's almost time for the start. In just over 60 minutes time, some of these athletes will be back here at the start-finish line, while others still have a lot of the race to run. It's time to join our commentator Rob Walker for the off.
Well, here we go then, the 7th running of the Cardiff Half Marathon, and they'll be set on their way by the Welsh former World Indoor 400 metre champion Jamie Bolsh. Well, this is a race that started in 2003 with 1,500 athletes. Today, more than 11,000 have entered. That shows you the mark of how much it's grown in recent years. They're bathed in early morning sunshine here in the Welsh capital. Barely a breath of wind out on the streets. It's a very flat route. It's modelled on a course in Holland that always produces quick times. So some of these athletes, even if they're not right at the front in contention for the gold medal, will certainly be hoping for a personal best or two. Already the field spread out. That's Willard Chinanyu, who left Zimbabwe to compete for Poole, very popular athlete on the south coast. He's just taking the early order, looking very cool and calm, coming back from injury, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Also looking pretty relaxed, wearing the bobble hat, is Simon Lawson, that medical student. Got a very relaxed style actually, and he's in good company here, as are the rest of the field. It'll take some of these guys quite a while longer than the leaders to get round, but they'll enjoy their day without any shadow of a doubt. And plenty of money being raised for good causes. Bernardo's are the organisers of this event, and they are the official charity. 800 runners competing for them, and over 150 charities benefiting in all from the sweat out here on the streets of Cardiff. The sun has done its part. Now these guys have to crack on with their 13.1 miles, and in time all the people involved with this event want it to become as big as the Great North Run and the London Marathon. Grand ambitions indeed, and those shared, of course, by Simon Lawson on the left of your screen wearing the bobble hat. Just making his presence felt in these early stages. There's Simon Jones in the red, the double winner, looking pretty comfortable at the moment. We spoke to him just before the race.
It's a long way, and I think for everyone racing today, you know, you've got to bear in mind that, you know, there's a long way, 13 miles. You don't want to go too fast too early, you know, and if you do go off conservatively, you can always make it back in the second half. Yeah, so just be confident, really.
Well, that tactic has worked for him twice, but as you can see, they're just beside the castle, so an awful long way to go. Simon Jones keeping something in the locker for the latter stages, but Simon Lawson skipping along, looking very bouncy and very confident.
I didn't know there were Kenyans running, but it's, you know, it's good to test yourself against the best, and you'll have to come up against them sometimes, so, you know, hopefully it'll be a fast race.
What's your plan for today's race?
See how I feel. That's what I always do, just start off, and if I'm feeling good, push it on. If not, just hold on in there and see how I feel. So just, yeah, hopefully run quick.
Well, the Kenyan he's talking about is the man in yellow, just tucked in third place, Joseph Mbithi. Also George Miller in that early breakaway group of 4. The women's race, well, that'll be an interesting one. Ganet Miaso from Ethiopia, she's out in front early on. She's won the Loch Ness 10K and the Run to the Beat in 2009. Well, winning not really on the agenda of these guys, but they'll enjoy the fact that they've got 2 big wide roads to ease them into the route. And how about that for a view? Cardiff Castle. Well, with scenes like that, there's every chance this could become a prestigious race of the future on the British calendar.
Well, we are looking for a new world record to be set on the course today, and while that may raise some eyebrows at home, it's not what you think. The man who is trying to do this, as you can see, is dressed for a whole different type of battle. Anthony,
how are you, buddy?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, slow start. I just wanted to get going. It's a hell of a wait, but there you are.
What's happened? They've all left you.
I know. I'll catch him up in a bit.
Well, there's always one, isn't there? And Anthony Davis attempting a world record for the half marathon, wearing a suit of armour. He's got to go under 3:30. It weighs 70 pounds, this piece of kit, and when we found out he was going for it, we just had to see how on earth you train in an outfit like this. And the answer is pretty slowly.
The idea was great at the time, and then it soon became apparent that, you know, there was a lot more into this than just putting on a suit of armour. It does weigh an absolute ton, and it is a real weight on the shoulders, and it's not designed to do long distances in. It cuts you to pieces as well. This is 18 gauge steel, and it's just going to rub and rub and rub, and, you know, I'm hoping to be on my feet for 3 hours and 25 minutes. Fingers crossed to break the world record. And 3 hours on your feet doing that, it's going to be relentless. But, you know, that's all part of it, and, you know, I've been training hard in it, and I'm ready to go.
Well, everybody at the Children's Society for whom he's raising money will hope he can do that world record. Now, back with the main leaders. They're coming up to the 4.5 mile point, and we've got a group of 3 breaking away at the front here. You can see by the calm water that it's a breathless day here. Perfect conditions. Willard Chinanhu, the Zimbabwean, representing Poole. He's leading things at the moment. And then tucked in nicely behind him, we've got the Kenyan, Joseph Mbithi, and Simon Lawson, the medical student studying here in Cardiff. And Mbithi, useful athlete over the marathons. He's won Istanbul and Edinburgh. That was a couple of years ago, but he'll be keen to show he's still got what it takes to compete at the top level. And you can see just how big that gap is at the moment. Lawson is in good company. The European Junior silver medalist from Serbia, don't forget, over 10,000 metres. A real character, trains 100 miles a week, is self-coached and does everything off instinct. So a bit of a character. Joseph Mbithi takes them round the corner. And also, worth noting about Lawson, running in a T-shirt as well as the bobble hat. You'd expect him to be in a vest. He really is an individual. Well, as those lead 3 come alongside the runners in 5th, 6th and 7th, Simon Jones in the red and the hugely talented Michael Johnson in the blue. We spoke to him earlier on in the programme, making his half marathon debut. Well, Jones said to us before the race that he takes his time and works his way up through the field, but he must be starting to think, now I've got to make my move, because Simon Lawson is doing just that. He's leaving the Kenyan and the Zimbabwean just a couple of yards behind, and this is a sign of confidence from the teenager. He's not afraid of the reputation of the men running immediately behind him. He's glancing around. He's a very relaxed looking runner, actually, nicely up on his toes, perfect conditions, and he's thinking, okay, now is my chance to have a go and maybe stretch the field. let them know what I've got for this second half of the race. And Beathy in the yellow just looks like he's starting to struggle a little bit with this pace, so these are good moments from the Cardiff students.
Well, I've hardly had a chance to have a sip of my brew here at the start-finish line, and already the leaders and elite athletes are well on their way back. But we do have time to get out on the course and catch up with those running at a more leisurely pace with Rebecca Morris. Cheers.
So here we are at the 2 mile point in the course. The sun's out, everybody's just warming up nicely, and I have to say so far everyone's loving it and looking forward to the course ahead.
I've never done a half marathon or any runs before. This is my first year of running, so it was a challenge to do this for me, but it's just such a great atmosphere.
Done 10k before, but that's it.
How's it feeling?
Not too bad at the moment. I'll tell you when I get to the finish.
Done this before?
Yeah, I did a marathon in Pembrokeshire not so long ago.
Was that you or Banana Man?
That's Banana Man. It's a good one, actually. Good views around the course.
Good day for it today.
Fantastic, yeah.
Fantastic is the word, and it's amazing what a big difference it makes if you're a club runner or a fun runner, that you've actually got some decent sights to take in when you're trying to break a personal best or raise money for charity. It does really help that you can have a look round and enjoy your surroundings. Simon Lawson, we're back with the leader. A bead of sweat forming, but there's good reason for that, because he's forcing the pace. And the Kenyan and Zimbabwean are struggling to live with what he's producing at the moment. Lawson is about to run past the Norwegian church, and the Kenyan and Beathy and the Zimbabwean Chinanhu are really beginning to struggle. You can just see over Lawson's shoulder that he's opened up a gap of some, 20-30 metres there, and this is a real declaration of intent. You can see the gap there back to Chinanhu in second place, and the Kenyan and Beathy, who was up with those two just a few moments ago, is really beginning to struggle. This is a confident move at still an early stage in the race by Simon Lawson. Be fascinating to see whether he can hang on. Join us after the break. Welcome back to the Welsh capital. We're in Cardiff for the half marathon, and this is the women's leader, Ganet Miaso. The Ethiopian, well, she's forged a big lead already, the latest in a long line of fantastic athletes from East Africa. And this man who wants to become a fantastic athlete, Simon Lawson, the teenage medical student studying right here in Cardiff. And I tell you what, he's done his homework so far on this course. He's opened up a massive lead over the Zimbabwean and the Kenyan, who tracked him for quite a lot of the early race. Just running past the Pierhead building, established in 1897, formerly the Port of Cardiff offices, now the visitor centre for the Welsh National Assembly. But behind Lawson, it all changed. Michael Johnson, the Cardiff athlete, has moved up into second place. A really strong-looking fella. Remember, this guy's the expert over 10,000 metres. This is his first outing over the half marathon. And Beathy, the Kenyan, just behind him. And Simon Jones, who won the race for the last 2 years, is hanging on for fourth. Now they're moving up to the northerly part of the city, past the Millennium Stadium. Lawson at the 10-mile point. You can see how big the gap is behind him. He's just checking the size of his lead with our cameraman. It's been a really good run so far, but I wonder how much it's taken out of him to establish the advantage he's currently got. And the 10-11 mile point is where you can really start to tire in a half marathon, especially if you've been ambitious with your pace early on. And Michael Johnson moving ahead of the athletes in third and fourth. This is turning into what's looking to be a great debut here by the Cardiff man. He's a big, powerful looking athlete, looks more like a middle distance runner than a half marathon specialist. He's going to have to work very hard to close the gap on Lawson, but he's doing his best. A little grimace now by Simon Lawson, and you can see the lights of the motorbike behind him. That indicates the second and third place athletes are closing a little bit. Meanwhile, back on the course, what a superb sight that is. The 11,000 entrants snaking their way through the streets of the city towards the 5-mile point and the Pierhead building. Plenty more landmarks to come before the well-earned medal at the finish line.
Well, it's almost halfway here at the Norwegian Church. Let's find out if any of the runners are in need of some divine intervention. Hello, how are you feeling? Enjoying this?
Yeah, absolutely loving it. Glorious day, absolutely fantastic.
You look very cheery, I must say. You do this often?
No, first one in a long time, actually.
How are you getting along? How are you feeling?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I just keep thinking of my girls and then I'll keep going.
Actually wore it out last night and woke up in it. No, I didn't really.
At the start line. Morning, Tiger.
Morning! How's it going? You all right?
I'm fine. Having a lovely morning. What about you?
Splendid. Absolutely wonderful.
You lost a tiger, so I hear someone say.
Oh.
He's gone lame, has he? I found the lone tiger. Your pack is missing you. How did you lose them?
Well, I've done no training and they all have.
Ah, yes,
So
you
I'm
see.
kind of behind them already, pretty much.
That's your
so-
fundamental flaw, then.
Yeah, I thought as tigers we were supposed to stay together and, hunt like a pack, but I've just been abandoned like the weak one.
Well, it's survival of the fittest when it comes to a half marathon, whether you're running in the middle of the pack or out front. Well, this guy's got number 1 next to his name at the moment, Simon Lawson, grinding his way onto the finish. He pushed the pace really hard. This is 3rd and 2nd. That's Simon Jones in the red. He's in 3rd place behind this man, Michael Johnson, who's trying to track the medical student back. Remember, this is Johnson's debut over the half marathon, and he'll definitely be feeling the pressure of the two men. But I think it's a little bit too late. Simon Lawson, with that long loping stride, takes a glance over his shoulder. Now he focuses on the finish line, which is coming up. He'll definitely be hurting, but every stride takes him closer to the Cardiff title and the crown of Welsh Half Marathon champion for 2009. He's run a really good race. He's an unorthodox athlete, running on his own, no coach, over 100 miles a week, balancing it all with his medical studies. He has to train at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, with that kind of dedication and this level of talent, how many more times will we see him win the big titles? He is undoubtedly a name to watch out for in the future. He can hear the ripple from the crowd. He can see the finish line. He can see the tape. And Michael Johnson is not going to deny Simon Lawson this title here in 2009. Here he comes. You can see the athlete in 2nd place is closing. But it's Simon Lawson's day here in the sun-drenched streets of Cardiff. He is the half marathon champion for 2009. Take nothing away from Michael Johnson, though. He's a 10K specialist stepping up to the half marathon and doing so in style. That is a superb 2nd place for him. And for the man who stood on top of the podium for the last 2 years, it'll be bronze in 2009. Simon Jones told us he'd pick the athletes off. He did that with all but the leading pair. Nonetheless, another consistent performance by the Welshman. He finishes in 3rd.
Well, Simon, many congratulations. Almost exactly the same time that you won in Bath.
Hopefully a second or so quicker. Hopefully, but no, it's a good race. I enjoyed it. Felt good. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I think it's my first senior Welsh Championship, so it was really good to do it.
I'm very pleased. As I said before, I just wanted to go off at a steady pace, exactly on race pace, on the time at halfway. Simon and some other guys had sped off, so I let them go because I wasn't too sure how much I'd have left with it being the first half. And then 2nd half, just started reeling them in. Another few hundred metres, I'd have had Simon. So I'm very happy with the time, and obviously pleased for Simon as well. He ran really well.
Simon, winner the last 2 years, 3rd today. Not the result you would have liked, but still not a bad performance.
No, yeah, that's sport. Obviously, a better guy turned up and won on the day. These things happen, but I thought the cards today were fantastic up there. Yeah, it's a great race.
Fantastic crowds, great race, and a superb win then for the teenager Simon Lawson, completing a 1-2-3-4 for the Welsh, and incidentally a mark of how much the quality's improved in this race. Only 4 athletes under 71 minutes last year, 10 this time round. The women's winner, Ganet Measo, well, she was the only one ever in it really, the talented Ethiopian. Carol Maya-Jones, a great 2nd place for the Welsh woman. She takes the national crown and knocked 6 minutes off her personal best as well. You can't ask any more of an athlete than that. Confirmation then, Ganet Measo of Ethiopia wins, Carol Maya-Jones in 2nd, and Anne-Marie Hutchinson completes the podium.
I'm really pleased. I couldn't have asked for any more.
And what an atmosphere it's been here today.
It was fantastic. The crowd was like amazing. I got to about the eighth mile and I felt like I was up the home straight with everybody cheering.
A superbly well supported event, thousands still out on the course. The Tigers are going strong and the Barnardo's organisers would love to finish the day with a world record, but if it comes, it'll be from our knight in shining armour, Anthony Davis.
How are you feeling?
Very, very sore. Not so tired, just sore everywhere. Just, but kind of my body's just got over it and it's just used to the pain now. So, it's just head down now and off I go.
You're confident you're going to break that record?
Yeah, very. We've been looking at the times. I've got a guy with me who's had the time. He thinks we're going to come in at 3:23. The record's 3:30, so we've got 7 minutes spare. So you never know, I might have a dance or something at the end.
Well, he's not quite Usain Bolt, but he is closing in on that world record. These two guys are also carrying a pretty tough load, but they're fit boys, making it look pretty easy.
How you doing? You got to catch up?
Trying to.
You're looking pretty hot.
Got about. Cheers.
Oh, well, you're welcome. How are you getting on? You're nearly there.
Yeah, it's a mile to go, easy.
Sprint finish then?
I think so. I think I'll take about another 100 people before the end.
It's my second one.
Right.
Hoping to beat 2:30, so I better start running again.
You had, hadn't you? Only a mile to go.
Only a mile.
Gone out of the gates with a burst of energy.
Here we go. Watch me go.
Oh, it's good fun. It was good. Really good crowd tonight, so good all the way around.
Well, as is so often the case with these events, we admire the winners in the men's and women's races, but the true heart and soul lies back in the field. It doesn't matter how many you cross the finish line with, as long as you make it. For some, it really is a painful experience, but the finish line is purely heaven sent.
Oh, amazing. Yes, I'll be back next year. Yes.
Well, this is a race visibly growing in stature year on year, and the crowds are a massive part of that success. Now the big question, have we finished with that world record?
Anthony, many congratulations.
Thank you very much, we've done it.
Mate,
30.
Under 3:30, maybe you'll get knighted.
Yeah, we never know.
So Anthony, so there you go. How about the London Marathon now?
Looking good.
Listen, enjoy your moment.
Well, we've been dying to say it all day, but there's been absolutely no chink in Anthony Davis's armour. He is now a world record holder. Simon Lawson, our winner today, receiving the applause, the cheque and the plaque from the Right Honourable Rhodri Morgan, Wales's First Minister.
Well, many congratulations to all 11,000 runners that started this race. In particular, our two winners, Simon Lawson from Wales in the men's event and Jeanette Miasso from Ethiopia in the women's event. It's been a fantastic day's racing here in the Welsh capital. Until next year, from Cardiff, goodbye.